Early detection just means early death, because the earlier they find it, the earlier they start cutting you, the earlier they start treating you with chemotherapy and radiation, and the earlier you die. Breast cancer grows 7 to 12 years to a size in the breast that you can even diagnose it. So there is no rush. You know, they find breast cancer, oh, you have to go and get surgery tomorrow morning.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, because they don't want you to get basically the time to get educated and educate yourself. So let's talk about this early detection. Imagine your lymph system, you have 4 times more lymph liquid than blood. So your lymph system, your lymph nodes are there to neutralize poison. It's like when you have a tonsillitis, they are the big lymph nodes, and then they're just working hard. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, showing, oh, the tonsils caught all these poisons, and basically they're just diluting it and neutralizing it and then getting rid of it. So when you have that tie, and imagine like a pimple that's ready to burst. Now the lymph node in the breast might be working hard and being inflamed, and looks like a pimple that's getting to burst, ready to burst. So now they put 50 pounds of pressure on it.
That makes sure it bursts.
That makes sure it bursts.
We, as a medical society, are giving women breast cancer with our demanding that they get mammograms. Mammograms cause breast cancer, period. So mammograms are not healthy for women. Women should not be getting routine mammograms. That's crystal clear, published in the peer-reviewed literature. And yet today, if a woman went to her gynecologist or family doc, she would have this shoved down her throat, extreme coercion to go get this mammogram that's causing breast cancer.
Wow, what a telling quote from Dr. Ben Johnson, that mammograms are actually causing cancer. Now, in that respect, I guess they're sort of similar to chemotherapy, because chemotherapy actually causes cancer. In last night's episode, we learned the story about Dr. Farid Fatah that was diagnosing people with cancer that didn't even have cancer and then prescribing chemotherapy. I guess you could say he was overdiagnosing them. What about mammograms? Is mammography prone to diagnose women with breast cancer that don't even have breast cancer? Are we being told the whole truth about this issue?
There's been a manipulation of the science, and there's been a very dangerous thing called overdiagnosis that has really afflicted millions of women over the past 30 years, especially for breast cancer. Because what they've done is that they convinced women that if they were to basically subscribe to an X-ray mammography screening, even though they have no symptoms, that ultimately that would help them in the long run. They'd have a lower risk of cancer because they'd find it early.
Early detection is your best protection.
Exactly. They even equated this meme with prevention, when in fact you're exposing your breast to a type of radiation that is actually known to have a higher risk of causing cancer in the breast, especially if you have the BRCA1 and 2 gene mutations that everyone is so concerned about, because they make it harder for you to to protect yourself from radiation-induced damage. So overdiagnosis, according to a recent study done in the New England Journal of Medicine, over the past 30 years in the United States resulted in 1.3 million women being diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer that technically never had any type of cancer that would have caused harm. This is called ductal carcinoma in situ, or stage 0 cancer, which they equated with actual cancer, which now we know is not. And so what that basically meant is that they would give them the standard mastectomy or lumpectomy with radiation, with chemotherapy, things like tamoxifen, and then follow up hormone suppressive therapies like Arimidex. So basically what we're dealing with here is a kind of a medical holocaust of sorts, because those women now had to deal with being diagnosed with a cancer they didn't have, being treated for it, having the stigma and all the psycho-spiritual emotional stress that's caused by that. And then statistically, the industry told them that they saved their lives, when in fact quite the opposite happened. So they identify with the aggressor like a Stockholm syndrome, and millions of people march in these breast cancer awareness marches, not realizing that it's funded by the very corporations that make money off the drugs used to treat breast cancer. We're talking about AstraZeneca, which actually is a derivative of Imperial Chemical Industries, who started Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the 80s and has a patent, or had the patent, for tamoxifen and Arimidex. So it's a vicious circle of brainwashing, and it's used to cover up really what has cost the lives, I think, of hundreds of thousands of